Look out, MSNBC. Look out, CNN. It turns out your friends in Hollywood, even they have had enough. Today it's Rainn Wilson, better known as Dwight from The Office, who is having nothing of the excuses sent his way. Now he's calling the reporters and the leaders of MSNBC Cleopatra, Queen of Denial. Hello, folks, and welcome back. It is another dandy of a day coming to you from somewhere sunny USA and delivering truth up on a silver platter, hot, fresh, and ready to wake up the Holly Weirds. As we get ready to dive in, consider clicking the like button. And if we have not yet earned your subscription, well, by golly, we're on it. We're ready to get that subscription anytime we can. Folks, let's dive in. Click the like button, and here we go. Folks, the Office star, yep, it's Dwight, all right. Rainn Johnson is tackling the left-leaning news media. Now, this is happening as Rachel Maddow is going away from MSNBC down to one day, and that could absolutely sink not only MSNBC, but CNN as well. And it's the kind of time when you would expect the Holly Weirds to come to the assist, and yet that is not what is happening. We're going to tell you what we think about this, but let's read it first. From hotair.com by Ed Morrissey, the Office star hits the protection racket media nail on the head. Cleopatra complex. Here we go. It says, this time the excuses come from MSNBC anchor Stephanie Ruhle, who claims that the media's low standing is the fault of Elon Musk. Grasping at the left's latest bête noire, Ruhle claims that Musk's media machine has manipulated people into mistrusting traditional media because Musk wants you to go to X to get information. Mistrust in the media is a conspiracy, Ruhle complains, and democracy is in danger. But, shockingly, Dwight from The Office disagrees. Here's what we've got from Rainn Wilson. We'll play it, folks. Here we go.
40% of Americans don't trust mainstream media. Why is that? How did we get here?
Listen, we are seeing a huge loss of trust. It's the media, it's medicine, it's banking. It's a huge problem.
But it's not her. She's not the one doing it. Now, I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit because otherwise we're just playing the entire clip. We don't want to do that. So here we go.
And tons of people were shocked or angry or frustrated, and they're tuning out. And at the same time, you have the Elon Musk media machine because they want you to leave traditional media and they want you to go to X, which is a bastion of misinformation where there is no fact checking. So
take that, community notes. Take that. Continue right along.
Their lane is and how they're going to get back on their feet. And we have to simply cover what this White House is doing. And I think if we do that, right, there's that saying, trust is gained in raindrops and it's lost in buckets. And it's not yes, you're not incorrect that the media has lost trust.
This is where I would push back.
This is where fear strikes in. You see, this isn't supposed to happen. A Hollywood celebrity is not supposed to say, this is where I would push back. They're supposed to nod their head yes. And this is when she knew. This was the moment she knew. She blanked up.
When I see this kind of insight and passion being directed at the current administration and the lack of this kind of insight and passion being directed at the previous administration.
Oh, Nelly.
Where, again, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about left-leaning news media organizations. We're kind of like, la, 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 everything's fine. Look, the environment's, look, the economy's great. La, 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 immigration's not that much of a problem. And really being Cleopatra, Queen of Denial.
I'm just going
to, new meme waiting to happen.
To give you some idea of this, MSNBC, they're just being clobbered in the ratings, and they're about to lose the only show that does anything for them. She's on MSNBC, by the way. CNN is in the Twilight. Small YouTube channels beat CNN in viewership on a daily basis. No kidding, okay? And she goes with this Hollywood celebrity who's supposed to save her, right? Dwight is supposed to save her. He's supposed to love her as much as he loves beets and bears. Yes, I know Rainn Wilson is not literally Dwight, but it's fun to pretend. And yet she goes on there and he just ends the argument calling CNN and MSNBC and the rest of the legacy media, ABC News, CBS News, etc., Cleopatra. They are Queen of Denial. Oh my gosh. Panel, Can you believe? And I guess the question is it now safe for Hollywood celebrities to question the official narrative? Is that what this means? Take it away.
So it wasn't exactly the man in the arena moment, but he does point out what a lot of us has known. If you go back and look at how things are going, I'll skip over the muckraker thing, but November 2020, when it hit around 1 a.m., you watched the media pick sides. 2004, they declared war. 2008, they celebrated a righteous and moral victory over those evil people, and then proceeded to go out of their way to divide, just to sow discord, replace the truth with a narrative. If anything that countered the narrative, added additional context they didn't want, it was ignored or was declared misinformation or disinformation. And people have gotten frustrated and tired of it. And they're struggling to understand their part in it. And a lot of it comes from they facilitate their own weird little myopic bubble. As we got to the end of the 80s, early 90s, they started bringing in interns who were former staffers, for Congress people, but it was only from one side. So now by the time you get to 2000, your offices are only filled with people who think like you, who have the same politics as you. There's no room or space for any kind of pushback or alternative thought. And then they decided to make themselves the story. The story isn't as important as their ability to tell you what the story is. And they've believed their own hype and sniffed their own farts for decades now. And it's, the bill came due, and they just have a really hard time accepting it.
Honestly, after hearing Rainn Wilson say so many different things, I actually kind of have a little bit of respect for him right now, because he's actually aware, and I think that's amazing. Those are my really only 2 cents. I'm just kind of blown away that it's him saying it after different things he said.
Let me show you all just how bad this is, okay? This is out of Adweek. These are the ratings for the demo, okay? I want you to know how painful it must be for an MSNBC host to go somewhere she thinks is safe with Rainn Wilson, and I'm assuming this is his Soul Pancake podcast. So MSNBC is in like in a five alert alarm kind of situation. Here's the viewership, okay? Just to give you an idea. Brett Baer over on Fox at 5 p.m. is getting 500,000, 500,000 viewers in the demo. Okay, people who buy the stuff because they're the right age. Wallace over on MSNBC is barely breaking 100,000. Okay, quintupled. If we go down, the only host they have that is breaking 200,000 in the demo is Rachel Maddow, and she's about to go to 1 day a week. Oof. They are in deep doo-doo. That's a technical term, folks, for the news industry. If you don't know what it means, it's French. And CNN also in le doo-doo as well. The whole thing's collapsing. Every bit of it's collapsing, okay? They are in free fall. And then she goes on with Dwight thinking it's going to be all right, and then it's not. Dwight says things that we've been saying. And I'm telling you, I think that it's gotten to the point now where Hollywood celebrities who are free thinkers, who have a skeptical mind, we may not agree with them even 30% of the time, but they're no longer holding back. They're brave enough to say what's going on in their brain rather than nodding on like a drone. Vash, I see you've got some new stuff. What do you got over there, Vash? What are you pulling up?
Well, I bring up the Babylon Bee a little bit because it kind of speaks to this somewhat from Babylon Bee. CNN, behind closed doors, Pope is still focused, sharp, and energetic. And it kind of like it shows, how the media was took a little different of a tact with the previous administration than the current one, right? And that's kind of the trust in media. And I think that's what Wilson was trying to say a little bit right there. It's like, look, listen, you have to be consistent. And that's, I think, where the trust falls off if you're not. And we know that the media was trying to peddle a lot of things. And I think some even believe that to a large degree. I mean, you had who was it again? Joe Scarborough, right? He was saying, oh, this is the sharpest Biden I've ever seen. You take that to the bank right there. This guy was absolutely incredible. And a couple weeks later, the debate comes out and says, "Oh, well, that's not exactly what everybody saw right there," and that kind of disproved that whole narrative. And so it's like, is it so much Twitter or X? Is it so much Elon Musk or the Trump machine? Or is it really the media undoing themselves with how they've conducted themselves over the past, well, I would say 10 years or so?
Actually, so kind of in the vein of this, I think this is important because someone else pointed it out the other day. So CBC News up here in Canada, the legitimate like propaganda network. If you care, I'll just share this quick. If you look at their views, okay, so they have 4.5 million subscribers. 20 in the last 9 minutes, they got 20 views. Last hour, 4.4 thousand. An hour ago, 288 views, 2.7 thousand views, almost breaking 10K. Like, I think it's something that we've discussed very often. But the media is just collapsing in on itself universally. Because like if you're getting this kind of traffic on the what's the word that I'm looking for? You've talked about this not long ago.
If you're backed by the government and nobody's watching you, you got a problem. If your ratings are less than,
if my videos on my channel are beating some of your videos.
Right, if a dancing troll puppet is beating the official state media of Canada,
you deserve to be slapped. And that's where, like, again, YouTube is the highest engaged platform out of all how do you word it, like streamers or anything like that, right? So the fact that they're getting that kind of engagement, that's really sad. So, I mean, part of it is I'd wonder, I mean, maybe Vash or someone could pull it up, but what's MSNBC's views on YouTube? Like, what's going on there? Like, are they matching the CBC? Which, if they are, I mean, that's really depressing. Like, that speaks even lower because right now CBC is an election season. So this is like their highest time to get any views because they're mocking Pierre. So, like, what kind of engagement are they getting there? I think that's really the true metric at this point. Like, is it worth looking at what they're doing on cable? Because I know they say, like, this is the demographic you want watching, but our demographics are not watching cable. So
before we go to that,
okay,
let me talk about what's driven the media down. Hot Air has this continuing on. It says, in other words, MSNBC took part in attempting to subvert democracy by covering up the fact that Biden could not possibly have been competent enough to run for a second term, let alone complete the term he was currently serving in. Biden was being propped up for another 4 years as a puppet for someone or someone to exercise power. And that is that's a bad situation on American democracy, one that lasted at least since the Easter Bunny ordered a confused and wandering Biden off the rope line in 2022. Folks, we're not trying to be mean. We're trying to explain something big here, right? What tanked the media? Well, the fact that we had a president who could not find his way around, and they literally put somebody in an Easter Bunny costume to guide. I mean, look at that. The Easter Bunny is waving in his face like, you can't talk to these people. I need you to move on, sir. They hid somebody in the freaking Easter Bunny. Okay, that's where we were. That was the situation. All right, so the fact that now the Hollywood elites, the fact that somebody like Dwight from The Office, Rainn Wilson will just ask a simple question and give them a slight critique, they can't handle it. They can't handle that because any kind of feedback is beyond what they were ever supposed to manage, ever.
Yes, oh, absolutely. And this is, I think, absolutely what Wilson was talking about when it comes to like this cognitive dissonance or like not acknowledging the facts as they are, right? And that's why he brings up the economy. It's like, well, people were having a much different experience than what they were being told in the media, and that's why people, are distrusting the media in the way that they are. Steve, I think the better metric not just raw views, but I think the meta metric would be if we could find, have some type of polling conducted where you have trust in media and then like trust in content creator, or trust in YouTube, or trust in any of the other platforms that people actually go to. Because I would think that would be much higher, especially with certain content creators that people go to on a regular basis. And I think it speaks to the difference between the mainstream media and people's reaction to it, and what they've seen from them, and the information that they've been fed from them, and maybe what their favorite content creator is giving them, and why people are
pay for that poll though. Like that's what goes through my mind, because like if it, typically it's these studios that pay for the polls to end up happening.
That's fair point.
And would they want to fund a poll that's going to show that no one trusts them, but everyone trusts like Joe Rogan?
That wouldn't be good. But for their survival, I think I would fund that if I was head of any of these media organizations, just to kind of understand.
But they've shown that they don't
is.
want to do any of that. They've shown that they're not reflective, and that they don't want to be introspective. They just want to keep doing what they've always done.
But I was jumping in here because Steve made a point, and then he kept going, and we got to hold on to that point. Steve, you said Joe Rogan. And when you mentioned Joe Rogan and what Joe Rogan does, and the trust that has landed there, Nolan, I'm going to hand you this one. Steve's bringing up Joe Rogan. Rainn Wilson runs a podcast. That's his thing now. He's doing Soul Pancake. That's his day. He's not in The Office. I don't know if you heard about this, but The Office is, it's not running new episodes. Hasn't for, a few years. Nolan, I'm thinking that Rainn Wilson said to himself, you know what? I'd like to be relevant. I'm going to do that Joe Rogan thing. I'm going to actually ask a question and make a funny statement. And then the MSNBC host brain exploded live on air.
What's working out for a lot of people who go against the narrative? Look at, I know this is a very, very different comparison, but look at Sydney Sweeney with Madam Web. Like, she didn't go with the narrative of like, hey, let's attack people about this movie and stuff. She kind of made things out a little more like, hey, I'm on your side of this. That film sucked. And she's made a career and a name of herself more so than when the film was initially coming out. I think Dwight's actor here, I would be a very happy man at some point, right, left, up, down, whatever. I open up a book and it says, everything changed with Dwight. And I think that would be kind of hilarious. Like, he could be a domino effect for other celebrities to come. And I think him making this kind of statement is actually going to benefit his career, because stuff like this, you're going to open up the door. Back in the day, when you said this kind of opinion, the only type of counter type thing you'd get would probably be like, I don't know, like a Daily Wire or something like that, or maybe like a smaller podcast. Mm-hmm. Now, since the media has gone so far pushed more on the left, now you got room for shows that are more moderate, shows that are more conservative. There's a bigger variety. He has more acting opportunities now, I feel like, than what he would if he was just playing like a lot of these Star Wars actors, for example, that are just going back to attacking fans again because they're desperate for a job and no one will hire them. And the one person they know that will hire them is Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm. So props to Dwight's actor. I got to respect the dude sticking to his values, or at least something that will get him to a better spot, hopefully, in his career.
So there's only one way I know to end this conversation, and that's with the red shirt guy.
Hey, just was wondering, is this...
No, not that red shirt guy. This red shirt guy. Culture Casino joins us.
Is this an out of season April Fool's joke? We already
we're in season.
Look, I'm going to say this about all of that, and set the news aside and everything else, because I am dropping a PMSNBC story tomorrow, and it's really obviously far too much for me to check out Kevin Apollo ready to go into the ring as the what was it? I mean, it wasn't a bushwhacker; it was something else. But he looks like he's ready to go in. But look, beyond all of that, I will never watch another Star Wars thing ever again.
Culture, I can't imagine why. Have you watched all 3 of the episodes?
I did, and I'm done.
Huh. So
there's no more Disney Star Wars for me.
Wait a minute, Culture. Wait a minute. You watched the first 2 episodes. Were you enjoying them?
No.
Okay.
No, I felt very Battlestar Galactica / Star Trek.
So you watched the first 2, you were not having a good time, and then the third came, and the third was the one where you said, No more.
Well, no, I mean, I pretty much have been out on Star Wars since, I don't know, Daisy Ridley. But look, I suffered through at least 2 of those movies before saying, chuck this like a lightsaber over my shoulder. I'm done. I'm done. I know Lauren's next to me.
Wait. The involuntary graphic scene. Is that what ended it for you?
No, yes, the fact that we're even having the conversation around Star Wars for kids, it's for kids, it's Space Wizards, all this other stuff. I know you guys probably already covered it all. I was too busy editing a video to get to it. But I will say I spent too much time watching too much garbage, and I'm done. I'm done. There's no return. There is no Star Wars, only Zool at this point. I will watch another Ghostbusters movie before I'll watch this.
We have a mutual friend that he messaged me and he said, so my night started with just having problems, but then his dogs also had intestinal problems.
Oh, no. Oh, whoa.
No. Hear me out.
Friends with Rachel Zegler? I'm sorry. Okay.
Someone that we actually like. And then this person's dogs pooped all over their floors, and they then they ended up watching Andor, and they're like,
Andor was
just kind of a theme all throughout the night.
Steve, that reminds me of the time I was watching the football team I love in a game for the playoffs. They got completely obliterated by their opponents, even though their team was wearing clown masks to mock the opposing team because they were so bad. And on that same day, my toilet got clogged and overflowed. So, sounds like an awful experience, my friend. So bad.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything Star Wars since Mandalorian season 3, episode 2.
That's a long time. You got Lizzo'd out of there, eh?
Yeah, that was the last episode we watched. Honestly, my wife, because I was watching it just to appease my wife, but then she was just like, "Yeah, I'm done," and I was like, "Ooh, you've lost my wife, who's like willing to like sit through almost anything."
Kevin, you had something to add in on this topic. What was your final thought?
Yeah, on this last topic, I think it goes to show you that there's been a major shift in the power dynamic. Celebrities need the media to perpetuate their viability, and when you see a celebrity kind of step out of line like this and do it very brazenly, it lets you know that the old guard is very much so diminished. He is relying on his ability to access the new media, and it just shows the new media's power. The old media has failed, and people know it's failed. They're willing to address it and recognize it. The only people who just don't seem to want to observe the obvious are the people who are profiting from being old media. It's their time is done, and it's
you say, and it's funny because a minute ago, Kevin, an article came out on Variety about Rainn Wilson. He's kind of funny. I like him. Thought The Rocker was great, but hey, I'm an offbeat humor kind of dude. And he's saying that, it's strange that the media gets involved in something like this. He, saying that the media essentially has a Cleopatra complex. I'm so grateful that you found this article before me. Wow, we're all on the same page. But I will say this, in Variety, he just kind of lambasts them, says that they have a power, passion that is against the current president, President Trump, that they lacked during the Biden administration. They act like Cleopatra, queen of denial. And I will say that that's the truth. They are unwilling to look critically at the things that they are willing to support, whether it be Hollywood or anything else. And I think that ultimately, with that pastiche of, pretending to care about things, they lack such sincerity and authenticity that we find on YouTube that it makes their opinion less than a glancing blow on your armor, because you just get tired of the nonsense that they spew out 24/7, kind of like support for a series of bad activities in a Star Wars show that is a kid's, Space Wizards thing that, you don't want to see, Grape Ape make an appearance in. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying that I'm glad the Force was not with the Empire in that scene. It may not be with Andor at all. And Culture, before we let that topic go, you've watched the first three episodes of Andor. You're saying you're done with Star Wars. My question to you is, scale of 0 to 10, what would you rate the first 3 episodes
Man, okay, if you were to say stop at 2, it had a higher rating. But again, to me, this isn't Star Wars. This is uniquely interesting Logan's Run / Blade Runner story with, vaguely Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek architecture. And I would still tell you that, it's not great. I mean, if you were looking at the prime of television when we got to the peak, when HBO was making great things, when even USA Network was making great things, when AMC was making great things, this thing is a 1.5 out of 10.
1.5 out of 10, and he is done. No more grinning for culture with Disney Star Wars. Pulling Hollyweird to the sensible center, the mainstream middle where money is made is not easy, but folks, you make it easy to make videos each and every day because sharing time with you is a great honor, and we never take it lightly. An attitude of gratitude every single time we have the chance to shine with you. Until the next time, we only ask that you click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, don't worry about paying any kind of tuition for this free class and how entertainment works. You are on scholarship. Highest IQ on the internet. That's you for sure. Until the next time we have the opportunity to spend time together, folks, we just ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
Right. So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. She's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.